I like to have mine pretty tight, and then I'll loosen it as soon as I get the fish on. There's one. Yes, sir. On that high spot. He's swimming right at me. What do you got? What do we got? Big and small and it's not huge. Medium and. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TRF. You know, the medium ones still jump though. Today we're gonna talk about one of my favorite ways to catch smallmouth bass. You know what? Not just smallmouth, all kinds of bass, and that is the Ned Rig. Bring it. Oh, bring something. Oh no. Let's go. We're gonna talk about the how, when, where, and why of the Ned Rig to catch some fish like this. My name is Tyler, and let's talk about it. Well, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Tyler's Reel Fishing. My goal here on this channel is to help you guys become better bass anglers with every single video that I make. And so if you guys are not subscribed to Team TRF, hit that subscribe button because we are all about learning how to catch more bass. Now, I've made Ned Rig videos before, and so this video isn't going to be a whole lot of new things, but it definitely is a good reminder to all of you guys out there that you should be throwing the Ned Rig if you're not already throwing it a lot right now. And of course, I'm sure there are some of you guys out there that have stumbled upon this video or searched for how to fish a Ned Rig and found this video for the very first time. You are welcome here on TRF. Now, before we talk about the beautiful Ned Rig, I have to say this video is sponsored by AFCO, the clothing company that I wear here on the channel. They have been a faithful supporter of TRF for 4 years now, and there's a reason why I talk about them so much, because their clothes truly are the best. I'm wearing their AFCO Yuri long sleeve sun shirt right now that has a buff built in and a sun hoodie. You guys will see this on my body in almost every single video. I stinking love this shirt. I'm currently wearing their everyday shorts as well. They are not heavy at all on your legs. You can fish in them all day long. And AFCO doesn't just make awesome fishing shirts. They make rain gear, they make lifestyle clothes. It is one of the coolest brands out there that I've ever had the chance of working with. And the good news is you can use code TRF to save 15% off your order. Make sure that if you or your loved ones need some fishing clothes, check out AFCO. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the gosh dang Ned Rig. As always here on the channel, I love to begin by talking about what the lure is and what it is meant to represent. So a Ned Rig is literally just, I'll take it off the soft plastic here, it is just a jig head with an exposed hook, as you can see right there, that you thread a very small, usually 3 to 4 inch soft plastic onto, and it is what I call a do nothing lure. You throw it out there and you do nothing with it. There's no crazy action, there's no interesting retrieve. It is just kind of a hop or a drag on the bottom as slow as you can. We'll get to that in the retrieval part of this video. Now, what the heck is a Ned Rig supposed to imitate? To be honest, I have no idea. It could be a little defenseless crawfish that's lost his claws. It could be a tiny bluegill, a goby, any small bait fish or forage that is really of any color. Most of the time people throw your more crawfish, bluegill colors on a Ned Rig, green pumpkin, watermelons, blacks, but I've seen guys throw a white lure, a white soft plastic on a Ned Rig, and it still catches fish. So it could imitate some sort of bait fish that is, you know, dying near the bottom. There are so many things it could represent. All I know is that when you throw it, it catches them. Now, I'm not sure when exactly the term Ned Rig came about, but I do know the first soft plastic that was used by the majority of people, and I say it still is used by the majority of people on the back of a Ned Rig, is going to be the classic Z-Man TRD. But I do not work with Z-Man, I work with Strike King, and so for a long time I was kind of frustrated because we didn't really have a soft plastic that could rival the TRD, but in the last few years we have come out with 2 different soft plastics that I have fallen in love with, and especially one of them I have a ton of confidence with on a drop shot. So I'm going to talk about those 2 real quick, then we're going to show how to rig this thing, how to fish it, and get back on Lake Mille Lacs to catch some big smallmouth and walleyes on the Ned Rig. Now, those 2 soft plastics are going to be the Ned Rage Cutter Worm and the Ned Ocho. The Ned Ocho is going to be your standard fat short worm that you put on a Ned Rig, and this one here is 2 3/4. I believe we also make one slightly longer than this one right here. But when you look at the difference between this one and the Z-Man TRD, I mean, it is almost exactly the same thing. The TRD might be a little bit shorter. Of course, they make longer ones as well. But when it comes to these 2, I'm telling you, a fish can't tell the difference between the 2 of them. Yes, a TRD is a little bit more buoyant than the Strike King is, but the Strike King has eliminated added a ton of their salt, and if I were to throw both of these in the water with a jig head on it, you would not be able to tell much of a difference, especially with the quality jig head of the Outcast tackle, as I'll talk about here in a second. Now, a relatively straight soft plastic like the Ned Ocho, it's great. You throw it out there, it looks like a little piece of poop down there on the bottom, and it catches fish. But I have found that something that can trigger fish, especially on the fall, to eat a Ned Rig when it's falling down is the Ned Rig cutter worm. This here is a 3-inch soft plastic that is about 2.5 inches of straight soft plastic, and then it has the classic Rage cutter worm tail on the end there, and I think this thing is the best Ned Rig soft plastic out there. I catch the vast majority of my Ned Rig fish on this soft plastic right here, and let me show you how you're going to rig the Ned Rig. You're going to take your Ned Rig head, you're going to thread the hook through the nose of the bait, and you're going to rig it as straight as you possibly can. If you thread too much of the soft plastic on there, it's gonna look like this. And if you don't thread enough of the soft plastic, it's gonna look like this. And let me tell you something, those two right there are about as straight as Don Lemon from CNN and James Charles. Those are not straight. So when you thread it on there just perfectly, it is nice and straight, just like this one. And the reason I'm so adamant about having you guys rig this thing as straight as possible is because you do not want your Ned Rig spiraling down in the water column. I'm sure there's a scenario in which a fish is gonna eat it when it sees it falling in a different way than other Ned Rigs, but I'm just telling you, when you hop that Ned Rig off the bottom, you want it to kind of hop straight and then fall right back down. You don't want any kind of spinning action as it's going down. You want it to look as realistic as possible, as realistic to whatever it is imitating. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys, I've caught more fish when they're straight as opposed to when they're not. Now, when it comes to the size hook and the size weight of the head, I've perused around Tackle Warehouse looking at all different companies, and I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of Ned Rig jig heads out there that are not Ned Rig jig heads. The weight of the head and the hook size are not matched together properly. There's just a lot of companies out there that don't have the right Ned Rig for you guys. Outcast Tackle does, and they really only have two that I'm going to recommend, a 1/0 and a 2/0 hook. If any company sells a different sized hook than those two, don't use it. It's not worth your time. 1/0 and 2/0 fits every single main Ned Rig soft plastic out there. In the vast majority of the time, I'm going to be throwing a 1/8 ounce Ned Rig head. Sometimes in super heavy current and really deep water, like on the St. Lawrence River, I will throw a 1/4 ounce Ned Rig, but like I said, in most situations and in the fish catches you're gonna see here at the end of the video, I'm throwing a 1/8 ounce Ned Rig on a 2/0 hook. That is what I found to be the best all-around Ned Rig combination with the Ned cutter worm. Outcast Tackle also makes a weedless Ned Rig head for all the times you wanna fish it and maybe a little bit more snaggy of rocks for any kind of wood situation, but most of the time, a Ned Rig for me is going to be fished in and around, you know, shallow and deep rock, not necessarily super sticky situations. I'm not gonna fish it in grass, I'm not gonna fish it in shallow vegetation, I'm not gonna fish it around docks, unless of course those docks have rock underneath. Ned Rig for me is a total rock lure. I hardly throw it anywhere else. So now that we've talked about everything when it comes to rigging this thing, what type of gear do you need to throw it? Well, because it is a relatively light lure. I mean, it's a 1/8 ounce with a very light soft plastic, 2 3/4 inches, 3.5 inches. You need to throw it on a spinning rod. I know there's gonna be the guys out there that throw it on the BFS, the super finesse, whatever it's called, baitcaster. I have a lot of confidence on it on a spinning rod. I'm sure you could throw it with light line on a baitcaster, but I'm just telling you, you look at most pros out there, Elite Series, MLF anglers, and most of them are throwing it on, if not all of them, a spinning rod, and I think that says something. I think that those guys know what's best because they are the best, and they would not use something that isn't going to help them catch the most fish. So if you're not throwing it on a spinning rod, give it a try. You probably should. And you can throw it on kind of whatever spinning rod you want. You can even go as you know, short as a 6-foot medium light spinning rod. But when it gets into the medium light, I like to kind of lengthen my rod a little bit to help with that hook set. So I either throw a 7.2 medium or a 7.6 medium light. With the 7.2 medium, I don't have to set the hook near as hard. It's more of just kind of like a pull up on those fish like I've talked about with the drop shot. But with the 7.6 medium light, the reason why I love this rod for so many spinning rod applications, drop shot, hair jig, Ned Rig, I basically use it for everything spinning rod, is because I can give those fish a little harder of a hook set because I have that medium light to kind of cushion that hook set. So personally, I like setting the hook a little bit harder. I'm gonna throw it on a 7.6 medium light. This here is the KVD GS7. It is Kevin's smallmouth special rod, and trust me when I say Kevin throws everything on this rod, and so if Mr. Van Dam throws it, you probably should as well. I've got it on the Lew's Custom Pro Speed Spin with 15-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid to a 10-pound, or if I'm super, finesse situation, super clear water, an 8-pound Seaguar Gold label leader. I've got videos on my channel over this combo. I've got videos on my channel over how to tie leader knots, why the importance of a leader material. I've got all that stuff that I will leave linked in the video description. But I hate talking about gear. I want to show you guys how to work this thing, and of course how to catch fish. So let's go on the front deck and show you guys how to work the Ned Rig. Spoiler alert, it's pretty easy. Working the Ned Rig, pretty dang simple. What you're gonna do is you're gonna cast it out there. Gonna make myself a long cast. I'm gonna keep the bail open as soon as it hits the water. That way it can fall all the way down to the bottom. You wanna make sure you are utilizing as much of that strike zone, fish zone, whatever you wanna call it, as possible. By closing, I see so many people all the time. They cast out there, they immediately close their bail, and that lure pendulums back to them. You don't want that. You wanna make the most of every single cast. So like I said, I have that bail open until I see, one of the advantages of braided line is I can see my line going, and then as soon as it hits the bottom, I see that line stop. So I know the lure is at the bottom. I'm gonna keep the reel positioned right here at or around my hip. I'm going to keep my rod tip, I wouldn't say as low as possible, because I mean, you could retrieve it with the rod tip like this. I'm gonna reel until all the slack is reeled in, and I'm just gonna kind of shake like this, and then give it one big hop. That's kind of the general pattern that I have with the Ned Rig. Is I reel, I kind of shake, and then one big hop. And of course, if you're fishing it around rocks, as you should be, or maybe you're fishing a rock to sand transition and you feel anything down there, you don't want to start pulling on it, because that Ned Rig, especially the ball head design of the Outcast tackle, which allows it to stand up very easily, it also allows it to get wedged inside of rocks. So if I'm hopping it and shaking it, and then all of a sudden feel a little bit of a rock, I'm not going to kind of like pull it over. I'm gonna reel in my slack and give the rod a pop, like that. And by doing that, the vast majority of the time, I'm able to get that Ned Rig up and over the rock, boulder, whatever kind of snag is down there, because the Ned Rig, like you guys saw, is an exposed hook. And so it takes every opportunity to get snagged down there, and we want you guys to lose as few as possible. I apologize for the waves, everybody. I know some guys, including the guy you're gonna see in this video who I'm fishing with, catch a few here at the end, he uses more of a drag method where he kind of drags the rod tip like this and feels his Ned Rig dragging. I just have confidence in keeping my rod tip down here at my waist, shaking like this, giving it one big shake, and letting it fall back down to the bottom. You can't work a Ned Rig slow enough in my experience. I'm not saying to let it soak there for like, a minute. I'm just saying that there is a way to work the Ned Rig too fast. Now, because you usually fish a Ned Rig in relatively clear water, fish are going to be more based on sight. And so you want to give them every opportunity to look at that lure. And if you're working it too fast, they're just not gonna have every opportunity. So just like this, little tiny hops and one bigger hop. Now, you're gonna feel a bite. Oftentimes, it's not gonna be a big thud like on a jig. It might be a little bit harder than a drop shot. Most of the time, though, I found that the fish are eating it, and you kind of feel like multiple bites as they bring it back in their crunchers in the back of their throat. And so when that happens, one of the reasons why I like to have my rod, sitting down here at my hip, is so that when I get that bite, I'm not all the way up here, and I'm out of position to set the hook. I wanna have it down here, so when I feel that bite, I can reel all my slack and then just lean into those fish. And that, my friends, is it. There's not a whole lot to fish in this thing. It is just casting it out there, bringing it back. Anybody can fish this. Boat anglers, bank anglers, kayak anglers, the Ned Rig works for everybody. But like I said, it is mainly a rock lure. It is mainly for your clear water, deeper water situations, which I think everybody around the country at least has some kind of access to. And if you don't, and you still want to fish a lure like this, the jig worm is the one for you, and I will leave that linked in the video description below. So I hope you guys learned something. Thanks so much for watching. Let's hop back on the water and see some awesome big Lake Mille Lacs smallmouth on this exact Ned Rig right here. Oh, you got him? Uh-oh, folks, Trev's got one. He's got one on the Nedley.
Oh, of course.
Oh, what is a walleye?
Yeah, it's a gravel lizard.
A gravel lizard?
Yep.
Oh my. I've never heard gravel lizard.
Yep.
But who would have guessed? The lake where there's no walleye.
The lake with no
he gets one. Cool thing, the Ned Rig is a multi-species bait, right?
Should we do this little boat flip here?
We can do a little boat flip. We can get him on in here. Hey!
Little gravel lizard.
On the Ned, though.
On the Ned.
Boop. Gravel lizards taste delicious in the pan. But not these. You still can't eat Mille Lacs walleye.
No.
Then why do people even come out here to catch them? Going down to him. Oh!
Nice.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was cool. Oh, wow.
Dandy.
Wow. Do you see him come for it?
Yeah, that was
Isn't that cool? Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Told you there were fish here.
Okay, yes, you were right. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Hello, big mama. Big mama smallmouth. It's a bigger one.
Oh yeah. It's a good one. I'm gonna spot lock
I mean, could this work? Could this be 4.5, 5? It looked big.
4. It looks too
Can you get me that? Can you get me that net out of the middle compartment, folks? We got a big one on the Ned. Saw him on live scope and dropped down to him.
Came right up and grabbed it before
Yep.
he hit the bottom.
And when you see a fish act like that, there's almost no use in testing if he's there. It's like, I would rather just set the hook. Oh gosh,
Dandy.
that's a dandy. That's a dandy, dandy do. Oh gosh. Come on, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Bring it in, big girl. Bring it in on the outcast little perfect Ned head. Oh. Oh no, ha ha ha. Ooh. Oh, that's a dandy.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. On the old Ned, yes it is. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Not bad, huh?
That's a dandy right there,
It's
folks.
special.
That right there is what you come to Mille Lacs for. Absolute beauty. Absolute beauty of a small-mouthed bass. Wow. We're gonna grab a picture real quick of the jig head in this guy's mouth, and then we'll tell you about him. See you later. This is 4.5 pound Mille Lacs Smallie. How you doing? You gonna swim away? Oh yeah. There she goes. See ya. Got him? There you go. Heck yeah, buddy.
Doesn't feel huge, but
Doesn't feel big, but you know what? It's a fish. He might be big. I'm gonna go ahead and spot lock us here. Keep us in this area. Grab the camera.
I'm gonna run to that seat though.
He's gonna run to the seat. You know what? I'll stay with you.
Pulling good.
Yes, he is. The thing about smallmouth is the fight's kind of long, so I'm just kind of standing here waiting for Trevor to be done. Beautiful fish.
Spinning back.
Oh, we got the belly. Beautiful fish. On the Ned. Wow.
It's a good one though.
That is gorgeous.
Pretty fish.
Thank you, buddy. Oh, that's so good to see. Give me some of that. That is so good to see. I know. I did look like a Simpsons character. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, I want to keep fishing. I don't want to get the camera. But I kind of want to get the camera.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Okay, I'm going to get the camera.
Watch, he comes up, he's like 12 inches.
No, he's not going to be 12 inches.
There he is.
He's not even as big as the last one.
No.
Wow.
Just pull.
They are hard fighters.
Yeah.
There we go. Very cool.
Little guy.
And now Trevor got one on the Ned Rig. I see a leech in the water that I'm gonna try to grab. There it is. All right, so we're gonna show you guys what Trevor's Ned Rig looks like as compared to something that actually lives in this body of water. Also what a little black outcast hair jig can represent. Here is the Ned Rig, a nice black and purple flake, the perfect Ned head on it. And this here, right there, is a leech. Yuck. Put it on my hand so y'all can see it. Right there is a squiggly, squirmy Minnesota leech. And smallmouth eat these things. Yuck. But right there, that's why you throw a Ned Rig and a hair jig. We'll throw him back in the water. Oh. There's one. I felt that bite, that's for sure. Holy cow. I felt that bad boy. And he is head shaking. I feel like it's not a bass head shake though. It does not.
It looks like a bass head shake.
Really? Those big of head shakes?
Oh, when they're big like that, they're usually good ones.
Okay. Gosh, I don't know. I do not know, buddy.
It's that.
Just gotta keep tension on. Oh, nope, no.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
brown.
he is brown and he's nice. All right, this is why you come to Mille Lacs. Now, I'm slightly happier now that I came. Still not super pleased, but happier. Gosh,
I mean, you're not happy.
this is fun. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the only reason why I came, to share a boat with you. Woo!
Oh yeah.
Wow!
There you go. Still not pleased?
No, okay, I'm pleased. With these big fish, especially on a small little Ned Rig hook, there's no reason to force them in. Sometimes they're barely skin hooked, so it's best just to let them wear themselves out, because they will. They're all tough guys until the moment of truth arrives, and then they give in. I'm a big net guy. Hey, chunker. Hey, how about you just don't do that for me? And that right there is a beautiful Minnesota smallmouth. I love using the Ned Rig and the simplicity of it to my advantage. Heck yeah. Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna put this one on my Instagram story. If y'all won't follow me on Instagram, you're missing out.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he was there. Look at him.
Little guy.
It's a walleye.
Lizard.
It's a walleye. Classic.
A boat flip.
I mean, if you can get him up there, all right.
Tail didn't touch. No penalty.
Yeah, that's just a slight touch. Oh, here comes. Yes! That was so cool. That dude shot across the bottom to come get it. That was awesome.
Oh, it's a Walter.
Oh, walleye.
Gravel lizard. They're all eaters too. Look at that.
Oh, that was so exciting. Oh, what a nice fish. What a nice eater walleye. He flipped down there, and on live scope we saw the walleye literally run the bottom to come find that thing. But alas, it was not what we're looking for. Well, as I work in my last cast, make sure y'all check out Trevor's Guide Service out here on Mille Lacs. It is T-low on the D-low. Whatever it is, it's linked. That's the Ned Rig for you. It catches fish, not just in lakes, but in ponds and rivers. You just gotta find yourself some rock. That is very, very important. You can throw it in grass, but like I said, I prefer a shaky head or a drop shot over a Ned Rig in grass. If you find yourself a little rock pile, you got any kind of crawfish, what should you throw?
Ned Rig.
Ned Rig. It's easy. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.